Morgan Lane is the communications manager at Turkish Heritage Organisation. She has worked on political campaigns and national advocacy in the US. She joins me now live in the studio. Thanks for joining us, Savannah.
Thanks for having me.
Now, of course, there's been a lot of discussion about how this trial is more or less predetermined. We know the outcome. Of course, it could change. There is a small chance, but it's highly unlikely that'll be the case. The president is unlikely to be removed from office. So I think a lot of people would be asking, especially some of our international viewers, what's the point of all this?
Well, what we're seeing right now, of course, tensions are high in Washington, D.C., and people all over the world are watching what is happening right now. Really, this is a historic moment, but as you mentioned, we know for the most part how this is going to play out. What we're seeing right now at the end of the day is a reaction to our hyper-partisanship that we are seeing in the U.S. We are in a highly polarized state where we are seeing our two leading parties, Democrats and Republicans alike, constantly at odds. And so this is just a formal process, I would say, really of pageantry and pomp and circumstance, that we are seeing robust measures to be drawn out in terms of what Democrats can do to try to at least make a strong stand against President Donald Trump and what he stands for, and vice versa. It's a chance for Republicans who are in a tough battle for re-election to be able to say that they stand strong with the president.
And there isn't a lot that Democrats can do. I suppose, if anything, they can do a little bit of public shaming, which is what they've tried to do, and pushing for the White House documents and to hear witnesses. But given that there's so much pushback against that and they're more or less failing, is it hurting the Democrats, do you think?
The Hill published recently that GOP members have stated time and time again that this is going to backfire on the Democrats. I'm not so sure right now, because at this point you see strong support from the left and those who will remain voting for the left, that if they aren't going against Donald Trump, that is seen as really negative. And that's something that we have to remember. We are in a campaign season. We are in an election time where these senators, these House Republicans and House Democrats alike, and senators as well, are all under extreme scrutiny from their constituents. So at this point, I'm not quite sure if it will hurt them in terms of their base. It might hurt them for more moderate voters who are really just sick of the noise, sick of the partisanship that is happening and what's coming out of Washington, D.C. right now. But at the end of the day, I think that the strong bases, both on the left and right, are not going to be changed by the process of what's going on right now in the House and the Senate.
Democrats have been saying that this is an illegitimate process, that it's not a fair trial. But at the end of the day, Republicans have the right to set the rules of their own trial, no matter what that turns out to be. But do you think it is actually constitutional for Mitch McConnell to be working so closely with the White House? And can Republicans really say that this is a fair trial?
So I think it's important to note a few things. One, just a few weeks ago when we were going through the House process, Republicans were saying that it was unfair. So I think in terms of what we are looking at, we're seeing a flip of the majority. And so the minority is, of course, going to feel like they are losing a little bit of power. So that is going to, be able to be seen in people's reactions and seeing that it feels unfair. And I think it's also important to note that Mitch McConnell has the right to be able to set the rules. He already has shown that he is taking a little bit of a step back with literal penciling in of edits and changes to how the proceedings are going to go over the next few days and the few weeks. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to note that this is not a criminal trial that you would see in a normal court system. This is something that the jury, the senators, also have the opportunity to play into the procedures as well. So there's a little bit of give and take, and I think that at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, they have the opportunity as the majority to be able to make that happen.
Okay, Savannah, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Savannah, Morgan Lane there for us.